This is going to be a discussion on the ease controls. Now, the ease controls seem like they're very, very simple. If you look over here in the animation controls and you have a transition selected, then you'll see the ease controls right here. We have ease and ease amount. Now, a little explanation is due here because once you understand how they work, they're so easy to use and they're so flexible at the same time. Okay, so here's how they work. First of all, the length of this line represents the length of the selected transition. Got it? Okay, in this case, I have a pose here, and that pose is it's the object in this position, and then I just added a little move to it for this pose so that now it's moved down into this other position here, right? So it starts here and it ends there. Very good. When I have the transition selected and this little button is on, you get to see the paths, right? Okay, now I'm going to make the background white here so that you can see these little red dots. Each one of the red dots represents a position in time for this object. Okay, so you see it's moving from spot to spot as it's moving from pose A to pose B. Got it? Let's see, camera rotate, there we go. If you look at these closely, you'll see that they're all the same distance apart. Really, really, really close, okay? The distance of these guys is pretty much the same, and that will apply whether you're working with straight lines or even with arched lines. If you arch these guys and then take a look, you'll still see that these dots are all the same length, about the same distance apart when ease is set to 0 and ease amount is set to 50. Okay, very good. Now let's reduce the arch and take a look. Now the way the ease works is this. This slider, this arrow, represents the ease at the beginning of the transition, and this arrow represents the ease at the end of the transition. Okay, so we have what we call starting ease and ending ease. Ease, when it's set to 0, 100, means that there is no ease being applied. So you'll have a constant speed from the beginning to the end. And we can check this out. We can just turn it on, and you can see that our object starts moving quickly, ends moving quickly, and it's moving quickly in the middle. Very simple, starting and ending with no ease at all. Now, if I add a little bit of ease here, watch what happens to these little dots. All right, as I drag this slider over, you'll see that the dots start to squish up towards the beginning. So when you zoom in on this, you'll see that the dots are very closely spaced here, and then they slowly get further and further and further apart. At the end, however, they're still all pretty much the same distance apart. Got it? That's because we have not yet applied any end to ease. If we apply end to ease by dragging this slider backwards, you'll see that now the dots are sliding together towards the end of the motion. All right, you see how that works? So here's how all these things work together. Let me back up just a little bit. Okay, very good. With ease, beginning ease and end ease set right here, and we start playing this back, you'll notice that now the objects start moving. They ease into the motion. They're not just, they slowly speed up, and then they hold a constant speed between these two arrows before they start slowing down. Now these arrows, these numbers represent 100% of the transition, because remember we said that this line represents the length of the transition. So these arrows, you can just see this. You can see that the object is speeding up between here and here, and then it holds a constant speed between here and here, and then it slows down between here and here. All right, so you get the object speeding up to about here, and then it's holding its constant speed to about here, and then it starts to slow down here. And you can graphically see that simply by looking at the dots. You see the dots are all squished together until about here, and then they maintain a constant distance between each other, and then they start squishing together again at the end. Right? Simple. Easy peasy. Now, the way you can work with these is this. Let me show you just a couple of examples. First of all, if you want a whole bunch of ease, you could put it like this, where you're using most of the animation path to speed up. So here we go. It slowly speeds up and then it just stops moving. Obviously, if ever anything is off screen, you never really need ease at that point. Okay? You can do the same thing by doing it this way. And now you'll see the object moves very quickly at the beginning and then spends a lot of time slowing down until the end. If there's even more crafting that you want to do to this, what you use is you use the ease amount. Now 50% is a pretty standard amount of ease. But what we can do with this is this. Let me see. Let's say we're going to put it here so that we speed up and then slow down about half and half. It's going to look a little funny because it's going to speed up and then suddenly slow down. All right. And then as we adjust the ease amount, as we increase the ease amount, you'll see that it bunches it even closer towards those ends. So it speeds up and then very slowly, very quickly shoots across and then slows down at the other end. As we reduce the ease amount, it starts spacing them back out. If you get to 0, you almost have the exact same effect as you did when ease was turned off. But you'll notice that it also goes negative. And what negative does is it gives you an explosive effect. What you'll see it does is it actually gives you negative ease. So in this case right here, you'll see it's moving very quickly at the start, and then in the middle part it moves slowly, and then very quickly at the end it's speeding up again. And that again is simply because of the way these sliders are. If I turned ease off at the end, you'll see that it moves quickly and then slows down. So I hope you're getting all this. So when we do this, we get more of an explosive move where it jumps off and then slows down and then speeds up at the end. We use this sort of thing a lot in our explosive fragmentation presets, where if you need the fragments to look like they all explode out of the scene, you put ease amount at a low number. 100 is usually way too much. But you might use about 75 here, negative 75, and then they all explode out of their starting position and then slow down as they fall to the ground. All right, so that's how ease and ease amount work together. Now the really cool thing about this is that you don't need to change anything if you have more than one object. So for instance, if we came in here and then just added a bunch more X's, now we have a bunch more paths. And check this out. As let's put ease amount back to about 50. Now you'll see that they each have the bunched together dots at the beginning and the end, and they're all moving along the same way. And check this out. Once we add cascade to it, it's going to change the number, but it redistributes them. So you see you still have the same bunching at the beginning and the end, even though the objects are now leaving at a different point in time. So you see what's going on here. They slide over. There you go. And they're still doing the same amount of ease in and ease out, even though they're now moving at a completely different point in time. So this is one of the really cool things about ProAnimator, is that you get these multiple cascading effects. You get ease in, well, I should say start ease and end ease without any trouble. And the cool thing is that you never even have to stop it to play it back. I can adjust the ease. I could say, let's see, here we go. Oh, that's a little better. Maybe I want more at the end. Maybe I don't want so much at the end. There we go. It's popping into position now. You say, well, what would it look like if it was more negative here? It's jumping and zooming out and coming to a stop. So you can basically just play around with the motion until you get it to the way you like it. And even if you've added an arch to these things, you'll see that the distribution of the ease is causing, the ease is causing the distribution of the frames to still work, even though the arch is making the motion path completely arched, completely different. So it's really cool. It handles all the problems for you. That is how ease works. Go and use it.